Briefing on December 10, 2024. Subject: Donald Trump. 1. After his election, Trump met with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to discuss trade issues. The two reached a consensus on alleviating U.S. Canada trade tensions, curbing illegal immigration, and addressing drug problems, and expressed their intention to continue cooperation. 2. Trump announced plans to revoke birthright citizenship through an executive order, which would prevent children of illegal immigrants born in the U.S. from obtaining citizenship. This plan faces significant legal challenges, as birthright citizenship is protected by the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. 3. Trump appointed his defense attorney in New York, Alina Habba, as a presidential advisor, stating that she has performed excellently in multiple trials and court defenses and is highly trusted. Additionally, Trump appointed other loyalists to senior positions in the State Department. Overall, Trump continues to implement his political agenda after taking office, adopting a hardline stance on issues such as trade and immigration, and appointing many loyalists. These actions have sparked widespread attention and controversy. Briefing on December 10, 2024, personnel arrangements in Trump's team draw attention. Summary. 1. In forming his second-term government, Trump has chosen a large number of wealthy individuals, former criminals, and failed politicians for key positions, which has attracted significant attention. 2. Trump's team considered bypassing FBI background checks to directly grant security clearances, but ultimately signed an agreement with the Department of Justice allowing the FBI to conduct background checks on proposed senior officials. 3. Trump's team has also delayed signing other agreements with Biden's transition team, raising some concerns. However, they stated that this would ensure they are ready to implement their agenda from day one. 4. Qatar is in contact with Trump's transition team, attempting to push for breakthroughs in ceasefire negotiations in the Gaza region. Trump's Middle East envoy has visited Qatar and Israel, seeking to reach a ceasefire and hostage exchange agreement before Trump takes office. In summary, the personnel arrangements in Trump's second-term government have drawn widespread attention, particularly regarding security clearances and transition agreements. At the same time, his team is working to promote diplomatic breakthroughs in the Middle East, which are worth close monitoring. Briefing. Trump spreads lies again about U.S. citizenship and immigration crime rates. According to fact-checkers, Trump claimed in an interview that the U.S. is the only country with birthright citizenship, which is false. In fact, over 30 countries have birthright citizenship, including Mexico, Brazil, Argentina, and Canada. Trump also claimed that during Biden's term, the U.S. allowed 13,099 murderers to enter the country. However, this figure is cumulative over the past 40 years, with many still serving time in prison, not roaming freely as Trump suggested. Trump repeated a well-known lie that crime rates are at an all-time high. In reality, according to FBI data, crime rates are currently about half of what they were in the early 1990s. Trump's dissemination of these lies is aimed at inciting hatred against immigrants among his supporters. Trump is also attempting to use presidential immunity to block a lawsuit against his media company. This is yet another move by Trump to leverage the Supreme Court's ruling on presidential immunity to combat existing criminal cases. Overall, Trump has repeatedly spread lies about immigration issues, including absurd claims like immigrants eating pets, and has used xenophobic rhetoric. He also plans mass deportations of undocumented immigrants, even if it could harm the U.S. economy. Given Trump's habit of lying, it is hard to believe he will fulfill his promises to Dreamers. Briefing on December 10, 2024. Subject: U.S.-China relations during the Trump era. Key information points. 1. China is conducting its largest maritime military operations in nearly 30 years, deploying nearly 90 naval and Coast Guard vessels around Taiwan. This demonstrates that China is not only trying to showcase its ability to blockade Taiwan, but also to prevent U.S. allies like Japan and the Philippines from coming to Taiwan's aid. 2. South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol is facing an impeachment investigation, which could lead to political turmoil and affect trilateral cooperation between the next Trump administration and South Korea and Japan in dealing with China. If Yoon is ousted, South Korea may shift towards a pro-China stance. 3. China is preparing to adopt more aggressive monetary and fiscal policies to counter the anticipated impact of U.S. trade tariffs on economic growth. China is willing to increase debt further, prioritizing growth over controlling financial risks. 4. China will prioritize boosting consumption as its main goal for 2025, which may indicate that future stimulus measures will focus more on consumption rather than traditional infrastructure and real estate investments. Summary: during the Trump era, U.S.-China relations have further deteriorated, with China taking a more aggressive military and economic stance in response. Additionally, political turmoil in South Korea may impact trilateral cooperation among the U.S., South Korea, and Japan. China is attempting to address economic downward pressure through more proactive monetary and fiscal policies and consumption stimulus measures. Briefing content. On December 10, 2024, the cabinet members nominated by Trump are highly controversial. The article points out that most of these nominees come from outside Washington, D.C., and New York, which is Trump's intention, to bring reformers into a bloated, incompetent, and weaponized government. The article analyzes the backgrounds and strengths of several key nominees. 1. Kash Patel, Trump's nominee for FBI director, has extensive investigative and intelligence experience and will not lie or fabricate documents while testifying before Congress like his predecessor. 2. Peter Hegseth, Trump's nominee for Secretary of Defense, will not leave office arbitrarily, implement racially discriminatory policies, or be responsible for the withdrawal from Afghanistan like the current Secretary of Defense. 3. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Trump's nominee for Secretary of Health and Human Services, will not fund dangerous virus research in China or shelter pharmaceutical companies like Fauci did. 4. Tulsi Gabbard, Trump's nominee for Director of National Intelligence, will not commit perjury in Congress or make incorrect predictions about significant events like her predecessor. Overall, these nominees have rich professional experience, distinct from the old political figures in Washington, and they are expected to bring reform to the government and earn the trust of the public.